Hey everybody, David and David from Bluefin here. We are joined by a special guest, Jackie Jing. Jackie, how are you today?
Doing well. I live in Los Angeles and it's beautiful out, so I'm in my one-bedroom apartment with all the windows open and everything, because that's pretty much the best we can do right during these times. But yeah, so I'm doing well.
Nice. How are you? Are you doing anything fun to survive the stay at home right now?
So I was just telling you guys, I've been playing a lot of video games and I've been watching a lot of anime and also, watching some Star Wars stuff. So, and cleaning my house a lot. Boring stuff. Some home workouts, I think probably similar to what everybody's doing. So
I'm doing all of that minus the home workout. I'm doing the opposite. So don't feel bad. Any of those pounds that you're losing, I'm finding for you. So they're going to a good home. So don't feel bad for those.
I feel like that's kind of how it is for everybody right now. It's like people are either like vegging and don't want to work out at all, or they're like, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life right now because I have nothing to do, So I'm like doing crunches for the first time in my life. So yeah, but okay. We're at the two extremes, I guess.
Yeah, no crunches here. I'm eating a lot of crunch bars. I don't know if that counts.
Not really, no.
No, it shouldn't. Yesterday, someone told me that if the Girl Scouts wanted us to not eat an entire sleeve of Girl Scout cookies, they would have made the package resealable. So it's okay. It's single serving right there.
So true. It's so true. Mm-hmm. Love those cookies, though, man. God, now I'm craving them. So
sorry.
I'm a Thin Mints girl. And I like Samoas. I like Samoas too, actually.
Do you put your Thin Mints in the freezer though?
I do.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Okay, good. I was like, some people don't approve of that. It gives it more crunch, right?
Yeah, it's delicious. It's amazing.
Yeah, and refreshing. So there you go.
Yeah. At Bluefin right now, we're celebrating all things Star Wars. We're having a big Star Wars sale over at bluefinbrands.com. David's kind of showing some of the bundles that are up there. So we just thought it'd be fun to talk to you about Star Wars. We all love Star Wars, right?
Woo-woo, yeah.
Yep. Oh, no.
Sorry, I got a phone call. I'm on my phone right now. Sorry. Am I bad?
I'm like, oh my God, what happened? She's like, I don't like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Okay,
you're good.
I can't hear you guys, so that's good. But anyways, I was just saying that I'm wearing my one of my 12 Star Wars shirts because we were doing this broadcast, but I definitely can't hear you guys, so maybe I should hop back in.
Oh,
sure.
No, you can't hear us? Okay.
If you can't hear us, that'll be a problem.
Okay, I'll try to come back. Is that okay?
All right. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right. Sorry.
All right. Well, while she's gone, David,
yeah.
How are you surviving the quarantine?
Well, I'm the halfway point between you guys in terms of working out. See, I'm thinking about working out, but my body is just sitting in a chair. So I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds.
Well, they say that every task is 90% mental, so you're just doing the 90% right now.
There it is.
Hi.
Hi, Jackie. Can you hear us?
Welcome back.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
A phone call would do that. I guess it just messed up the audio completely. But anyway, hello, I'm back. Hi, everybody.
No problem. So how did you get? What's your earliest memory of Star Wars? How did you get hooked on this franchise?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my dad was a big Star Wars fan, and man, I think my brother and I had to be 6 or 7 or even younger when we first started watching it. And my dad, we would have weekend marathons like all the time. You know what I mean? So like we constantly had Star Wars on. Like it's just such a big part of my youth. Like if my dad was cooking or we were just like hanging out, like we would just always have it on in the background. But I think I was probably 6 or 7 and it was my dad. And he was like, this is a really special story. I remember we were really young and my dad was just like, this is a really special story. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. And it just became this, it brought our family together. It was like a big way, or it was a huge way that we bonded with each other. So yeah.
That's great. What was the first, do you remember the first episode you watched? Did you start with the original trilogy or did you jump in the prequels?
We definitely started with episode 4, New Hope. And I remember clearly, like it's almost like a commercial. Like my brother was a year younger than me. And so we were both just like sitting right in front of the TV and just like looking up, and it was just like scrolling, you know what I mean? And I just can remember it vividly. And that music, I remember even as a child, like we were just like, what is this awesomeness? Like we even knew then, and we were just like little kids. And what was so surprising to me is like I have really bad ADD. I had really bad ADD when I was a kid, but for some reason, like I was locked in. You know what I mean? Like it was like my dad showed us so many bad movies. Does anybody remember Yellowbeard? That was like one really weird movie.
Oh yeah.
And like Python and all and then even he loved Casablanca and some of these like old movies that would never hold the attention of a 6 or 7 year old, you know? But we watched Star Wars and my brother and I were just glued to the screen. Mind you, now, as I've grown older, I have a deep appreciation for those movies, but Gone with the Wind, not the best choice for a 6 or 7 year old, you know? But when we watched Star Wars, like my brother and I were like, what is this amazingness? Like we were locked in, so.
Nice. You heard it here first. Throw out all those medicine Star Wars, cures ADHD.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was like, we probably shouldn't have been sitting so close to the TV, but oh my gosh. I'm sorry if I go off a lot, but I was listening to Ace of Base yesterday, random, and I was talking to some of my friends, and I literally just was like, the song came on, and I was like, dude, my brother and I used to pretend that we were Jedi versus Sith, you know, and we would be like dancing around our living room, like with pretend lightsabers, like to Ace of Base. We'd be like, da, 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 da. And I remember it came to this like interlude of the song. And I was like, this is where we would be like, just kind of like pacing and like reading each other. But like, and I'm explaining this to my friends and they're just like, wow, you are such a dork. And I was like, yeah, that's how we spent our weekends. We would be watching Star Wars, and then we would like listen to Ace of Base and just like pretend that we were characters in there. So
now, important question though, when you were pretending to be Sith and Jedi, which side did you pick?
Oh man, I was definitely Sith. That is the
correct answer.
It's funny because everybody who knows me is like, Jackie, you were so not Sith. Like you're warm and you're friendly and you're like welcoming to everybody. But I think like what I love about the Sith is that they have this dark side that like, and we know everybody's complex. Like we've even seen dark sides of the Jedi, right? And it's all about this balance, correct? But I think that like I just love that darkness, and they're just kind of like, I was always like an emo punk rock chick growing up, and they kind of have that vibe. So I was always like, I'd always be like, I'll be the Sith, and I'd have like, you know, black eyeliner and just be like the most dramatic. And so I was definitely a Sith. Sorry if I'm disappointing anybody.
No, that's okay. That's
this is the way. This is the
way. So you know, you're a big fan. You know, we're all big fans. So here's a fun hypothetical for you. Okay, so if you're given the Millennium Falcon, okay, you know, you take it on its maiden voyage. Okay, what real life person in your life is your co-pilot? What music are you listening to on the radio? And what are your preferred space snacks?
Oh my god, I love it. Okay.
Ultimate road trip.
Okay. So you know, we were talking about Sith and Jedi. Real talk though, I don't think I would ever make it as a Jedi or a Sith Lord because I'm not good at following rules, and both of them are like stringent. Like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta be both sides. Like there's no like kind of like chill, I'm doing my own thing, kind of like Sith or Jedi. I mean, there's some people who take liberties, but it's just like there's just so many rules. I don't know if I'd ever be a great one. So I definitely think, even though I'd love to have a lightsaber because that's just like so dope, I'd probably end up being more like a bounty hunter, probably more like a Han Solo type. So I would be Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon, and I would definitely pick my best friend, Kathleen. She'd be my Chewbacca for sure because she's really quiet and chill. And she's really tall too. I'm 6'2". She's the same height as me, but so she's super tall. So she'd be my Chewie, and you know, not to mess with her, even though she's like kind of quiet. Like you don't want to piss her off, right? And then what music would we be listening to? I would want to listen to 80s And I for some reason just Died in Your Arms Tonight comes to my head, and she would be probably super annoyed, and I'd be like singing it at the top of my lungs. And for snacks, we were talking about Girl Scout cookies, so I think I would do Thin Mints and Samoas, and I would have peanut butter so I could dip them in there.
Wow. I want to go on a voyage with you. Thought for sure it was going to be signed by Ace of Base was going to be playing on
Oh
that.
my God. I mean, shoot, that would have been a good one. I'm a big 80s and 90s music fan, so like that would just be on loop, and it'd be just making everybody on the Millennium Falcon mad. So yeah.
Awesome. We have a couple lightning round questions. I'd love to just rattle off some questions. Just give us the quick first answer that comes to your mind. You know, you don't have to explain or defend yourself. Just whatever's on your mind, you're going to give to us. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Jedi or Sith?
Sith. I kind of answered that one, right?
You did. Favorite Jedi?
Yoda.
Favorite Sith?
Darth Maul, for sure. He's so badass in Phantom Menace, and I just want more of him. Like, they showed him at the end of Solo, and I was like... and then everybody's like, boo, this is over. And, like, Kathleen Kennedy, like, calls off everything. And I'm like, what? So, like, don't do that to me. So, yeah, I love Darth Maul. I mean, the double-bladed lightsaber. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but, like, that was the coolest thing. Probably my favorite moment out of the episode 1, 2, and 3 trilogy. Like, I just, like, that battle is just so cool. I wanted more of it, but sorry, yes, Darth Maul.
That's okay. Darth Maul is a good answer. And yeah, I remember sitting in the theater the first time we showed the trailer for episode 1, and you saw Darth Maul ignite both ends lightsaber. I'm like, oh, they can do that?
Yeah,
I know.
It's pretty fire.
I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, back to lightning round. Favorite vehicle?
Definitely an AT Walker. Is it at Walker or AT? I think probably both work. But
it's the age-long debate.
Yeah.
How do you say it? I
say AT, but I recently played Jedi Fallen Order. Anybody else? Did either of you play that?
Yeah. That game was so good. It was so good.
First of all, the gameplay is exceptional. Like, you're climbing stuff, and he's just like, his Jedi movements were so fun. Like, by the end of that, I thought I was I don't know if I can cuss on here, like the baddest A ever. Like, I was like, look, because at the beginning I was like running on walls, and then I just like fall into emptiness, and I was like, dang it. But then by the end of it, I was like parkouring like crazy and stuff. Like, oh my God, I loved it.
That game was so good, especially when you fight Vader.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'll be honest, it was a little slow for me in the beginning, but like the end just got me like 100. I was 100. But my favorite part of that game was the AT Walker part. Like, I don't know what, first when you're climbing it, remember how you have to climb up it and around it and sneak in it? And then when you're operating it, like, I don't know how, I mean, this is just the beauty of video games. Like, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, imagine having that power, like, you know what I mean? And it just being like this walk. I mean, I guess they have so many cool, I was just going to say there's obviously like all the great transportation vehicles in the Star Wars series, but for some reason, like, that was my favorite part of that game. I just lit up when I was doing that part. So yes, that's my favorite vehicle, I guess.
Awesome. Perfect. Person you would like to marry from Star Wars?
Oh my God. I've never even thought about this. In my heart, I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, that was kind of like, I'm not even gonna lie, I thought of Darth Maul first. I was like, I could change him. We could somehow, like, we would figure it out. Like, you're just so athletic and just powerful, and I don't know why I'm like drawn to Darth Maul so much. It's creepy. But then as soon as I thought that, I was like, no, it's gotta be Ben. It's definitely gotta be Ben. I love Ben. Though I'm not Ben, like old version Ben. I'm thinking like Ewan McGregor. So I was like, maybe I should clarify that because I called him Ben. But yeah. First of all, I mean, Ewan McGregor, beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, Ewan McGregor, Phantom Menace. That was probably the first time I had like Legolas in the Lord of the Rings. I had a hardcore crush on him. But then was Ewan McGregor before? Yeah, then Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor was my first big crush. my Legolas crush went way beyond that, though. I like had posters and everything, but I was like, my dad was like, "Why are you getting all this like you McGregor stuff, and why are you getting all this like Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff?" I was like, "I just think he's really cool." Definitely had a hardcore crush on him, but he's just such a great character. He has so much heart, and he's so kind, and he's so warm, and some of my favorite parts of the first, well, I always want to say first 3 episodes, but I guess it's like the second trilogy, but you know what I mean. For episode 1, 2, and 3, like just getting to know him better was my favorite part of that like kind of series. But I was really hoping that they were going to make a movie. Now they're making the TV show, so I'm super excited about that. But and maybe the TV show will be better. But like at first, when they were like axing all the projects, I was literally almost about to cry because I was like, I want Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff. But we're getting the show, so I'm excited about that. But sorry, another long.
No, it's totally acceptable. We love it. And Obi-Wan is definitely the safe choice to bring home to meet your parents. You know, you bring home Darth Maul, you're gonna get some.
They'd love him. See, like Darth Maul would just. They would be like. That's like the dude with like too many piercings in the leather jacket. They're like, okay.
You got to pay Obi-Wan to come pick you up in his car, and then you get in the car with Darth Maul.
Exactly.
That's the move.
Oh my god! So
no dad's letting you leave the house with Darth Maul.
No. You know what? If he shows up, they go home, leave.
You know what? So was it who you would marry? So Darth Maul would be the one that I would like date for a long time, and we'd be like on and off, and then I would grow up and realize I should be with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
That's how it would go down. Okay.
Awesome. What color would your lightsaber be?
Oh my gosh, I already know the answer to this. It would be double bladed, and it would be purple, and then sometimes on really hard impact it would flash pink.
Nice. All right.
Oh, you have thought about this before.
Yeah, you know, I also loved in Jedi Fallen Order how you could pick the lightsaber color and you could choose to be double bladed or not. I definitely chose to be like double bladed most of the time once we got that ability. So I love that. I just think it looks so cool. So
nice. All right. Ewoks, adorable or deplorable?
Anybody who thinks that the Ewoks are deplorable, like, we're going to have an issue. Who thinks the Ewoks are deplorable? Do either of you think the Ewoks are deplorable?
No, they're awesome.
Yeah. I know.
They fought the Empire with sticks and stones.
They are, okay. Like, first of all, when I first saw them as a child, I fell in love with them because, you know, you're like a kid and they're like, look at these cute, like, teddy bear things, right? And my love for them has just continued to grow. But I kind of am embarrassed to admit this, but like one of my favorite Star Wars properties of all time is the Ewok show. Did you guys ever watch that show?
Oh yeah, Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure. Oh yeah.
My brother and I probably watched those VHSs more than any Star Wars VHS. Like I hate to admit that because, you know, Return of the Jedi is definitely my favorite movie, but like I definitely think I watched the Ewoks movie or the TV series because it was just on like 2 or 3 VHSs back then. I definitely watched that the most, and I love Ewoks. Wicked all the way, everybody.
My mother's actually been cleaning her house because, you know, we're all stuck at home, and she came across a lot of old photos. And, you know, not to date myself, is older than both of you, but I went as Wicket for Halloween one year, and my mom made the costume for me, and so she sent me a picture the other day, and it was me in my Wicket costume, and she made my sister a Miss Piggy costume, and my brother was a devil, which is apropos. But I have nothing but love for the Ewoks in my heart.
Did you ask to be Wicket? Were you like, I want to be Wicket, Mom?
I'm sure I did. I don't know if I asked just to be an Ewok or if I asked specifically to be Wicket. I would imagine it would have been Wicket because that's the only Ewok whose name I knew at the time. But yeah, I think it was.
Can we please get copies of this? Like, can you tweet this out? Like,
of course.
Put it on Bluefin brands.
I'll put it out. So everyone can be like, oh, look how cute you were. What happened?
Did you ever watch the Droids one? Because I remember my brother and my mom was like, okay, you get one or the other. And so like my brother and I literally sat there. We're like, Droids or the Ewoks? Like the Droids or the Ewok series. And we sat there forever. And she was like, what's going on? Like, what are you guys still deciding about? And then at the last second, we were like, Ewoks, I guess, you know. But I never watched the Droids animated series.
It's not as good because it doesn't have Ewoks.
Okay, all right. Because I was always like, I think back to that moment, and I was like, was that a missed opportunity? To this day think back on that moment in the VHS store. So
It's same animation style, so I mean it looks really cool. I like to see like the stylized version of like 3PO and R2, but I like the Ewoks better because I think the Ewoks were great and they were my childhood.
It was cool, that show too, because you got to, because you know, in the movies they're like speaking in their language and you can't understand them. So then we got like all of this insight into their world and like kind of what they deal with. And I don't know. Okay, why am I going off on this tangent? It's great. If you haven't seen it, go check out the Ewoks animated series, everybody. So
there's nothing wrong with going off on a tangent on Ewoks.
Yay!
Well, I'm glad we're chatting Star Wars. Like I said, we're having a big Star Wars sale right now. Anyone who's watching, if you have any live questions, just go ahead and put them in whatever platform you're watching. We have someone aggregating them so that we can ask them at the end of the show. But I know David had some. Oh no! Did we lose her again?
Oh no!
So David.
Yeah. What's
Internet. It's always fun. Well, what's your stance on Ewoks? You heard. Oh, here she comes.
All right.
I tried to click one of the action figures. I was like, "Oh, that looks cool," and then
oh no, it's not clickable. It's not clickable.
Okay.
He's like, I'm just gonna pull it through the screen.
I'm not touching the phone anymore. I'm sorry, you guys. These figurines look amazing. They're like really,
awesome.
really cool. Yeah. And some of them not badly priced. Like this is like only $40. You're just like.
So this one right here, actually, this is a model kit. Actually, so it's snapped together, and see, like I like the model kits because they're about 6 to 7 inches tall, depending on which one what they are. They're pretty easy to put together. And the cool thing is with the troopers, they all have the same joints, so you can make your own trooper like pretty easily, and it's pretty fun. So
nice. They all look fantastic.
Yeah.
Make warm my little Star Wars heart. So
we'll have to get you some to pass the time in your quarantine.
Yes, I actually heard about this set right here, this bundle, and obviously you guys know I'm like a huge anime fan, and this just speaks to me on another level. Like that looks so freaking cool. I love it. Love it so much.
What animes are you watching right now?
I'm watching Tower of God. It's a very, very good one. I was rewatching Sailor Moon, which is. Do you guys ever? I'm sure this has happened to you guys. Like you really loved a show or a movie when you were a kid, and you like defended to this day as like the best property ever. And I'm like rewatching it, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty bad, but it will always be great because it was like the first anime that got me into anime. So I'm rewatching it, and it's kind of painful. But I like as a hardcore anime fan, I'm like, you will get through it, and you will know all of this knowledge. It's useless. But yeah, so.
Yeah, for me that's Voltron. As a kid, oh man, I watched Voltron every day.
Yeah.
Everyone who had the metal Voltron was the coolest kid in the class, and I tried watching it as an adult, and not so good. The new Voltron is great.
Yeah, the new Voltron is fantastic.
The old Voltron is like, well, this isn't as good as I remember.
Yeah,
that's why you never watch stuff again. Like the stuff you were in childhood, just watch it once and then move on.
See, like Dragon Ball Z. If you don't watch all the filler in it, but the Frieza saga, I could watch the Frieza saga anytime and absolutely love it. Which there's parts of Sailor Moon which I can watch. So I guess it's like all Voltron even too. There's probably parts of it that are just pure genius. That's why we fell in love with it, right? But you're just like, back then, what was up with all the filler and all the formulas and stuff like that? And I do think a lot of it that had to probably do with animation. Because with Sailor Moon, they do the transformation scenes over and over again. And I think it's because they were just trying to fill in time and not have to pay artists. Because like back then, it was like such an ordeal, Now we have all this technology. But I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent again. So.
No. That's what you're here for. You're the tangent machine, and we love it.
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
No,
and
you don't
phone's
apologize.
dying, so I'm plugging it in. I'm just like, my phone's a hot mess right now. Okay.
Hey, no problem at all. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, David?
I was saying nothing.
It looked like you were going to say something.
I was thinking things intensely.
Oh.
What are you thinking? What's going on in there?
I'm meditating upon the dark side of the Force. No.
No.
Yeah.
See the lights. Come to the lights. right?
So, is there anything that you collect? You know, do you collect figures? Do you collect, model trains? Everyone geeks out and collects something. I'm pausing so you can.
Let's go on a tour.
All right.
So actually,
we're mobile.
I'm a little bit sad because they told me, they're like, hey, they're gonna ask you about like Star Wars toys and stuff like that you have, and this is kind of breaks my heart, but I think was good. It was the right decision. My neighbor came to my apartment, and I have a ton of anime figurines, and I had Star Wars figurines, and I have She-Ra stuff. I have like all this stuff. And he just fell in love with the Star Wars stuff. So I gave him all of my Star Wars stuff because I just felt like it's sitting on a shelf. I'm a much older woman who does not play with them anymore. You know what I mean? So I gave them all to him. And I think it was the right thing to do. Though I miss them. I miss seeing them. But then it was funny because they were like, show off your Star Wars stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I like gave it to this kid. But in my heart, I think it was the right thing to do. So. Because it's like, you got to pass it on, right? I got 12 Star Wars shirts, I'm like, and that's what I actually wear, and use. So I was like, okay, I'm passing it on. And so that's that. But I have a lot of anime crap. So when an anime kid comes over, I guess I'll be giving this all away too. So I have all these wall scrolls, Neon Genesis Evangelion,
Nice.
Cowboy Bebop. This
Nice.
is probably my favorite anime. I have it tattooed on my side. It's like deep engraved on my ribs. Gungrave. This is a very underrated anime that I don't know why it just didn't take off the way it was. And then of course I have my Sailor Moon wall scrolls from when I was like 10 or 13 years old. And then I am a big anime fan. I'm particularly partial to Dragon Ball. So I have 2 skateboards here, this lovely poster. And then really into My Hero Academia. So I have like all these little My Hero Academia things. I have like these all kind of pinned up here. I don't know if you guys know the characters or not. So.
I love My Hero Academia so much.
So I have Bakugo, I got Deku, I got 2 forms of Deku, 2 forms of All Might, Shigaraki, and then this is my anime collection down here, like just all anime.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then I'm very into video games too. So like I have this like Dark Souls collectible, and then I have all of my consoles from when my brother and I were little. They're all here.
Yo, there's some pretty good stuff there.
I know. So it's basically like, so to be honest, my Star Wars stuff was like here, which you can see is now pretty empty. And it was like a special little Star Wars shrine. But again, like that kid was so partial to it. So I was just like, why am I holding on to this? Like when this kid would probably, oh my God, where do I put the phone? Would benefit from it more, you know what I mean? So yes, I do collect stuff. And to be honest, like now I kind of need some more Star Wars stuff. So I'll have to bother you guys and get some bundles, I guess. So.
Oh, we'll definitely have to hook you up. We'll have to decorate that shelf behind you with some Star Wars goodies.
It's looking empty, yeah. So.
But you made the right choice. I did something similar. I've been cleaning out my house, since this whole thing's been happening, and I just found so many people. I gave away all of my comics, all of my DVDs, just to these kids who wanted us to read old comics and who wanted to watch these movies and stuff like that. So it went to a good home, and I'm sure your Star Wars stuff went to a good home. So
yes,
never regret
totally.
that choice.
You miss it a little bit, but then it's also like you want to pass this on. Like my dad, passed on Star Wars to me. You know what I mean? And I remember my brother. Oh my gosh, do you guys remember those Pepsi cans?
The episode 1 Pepsi cans?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have the whole set of.
My dad was on a mission to get the gold can. I don't think I've ever drank so much Pepsi in my freaking life. My dad was like, Pepsi, let's get the gold can. And like we were like going crazy. I don't know why that just popped in my head. But because I was talking about toys, my brother and I had like so many Lego sets, and it was such a huge part of our life. And I was just like, man, like, I have so many cherished memories with it. So I was like, somebody else needs to experience this, like what is it doing on my shelf, so, but it's good to have a couple items too. So I'll have to get some new ones.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that I wasn't the only lunatic hunting for these Pepsi cans. Every time we drive by a convenience store, I was looking for I don't remember what kind of Pepsi. It was a weird offshoot of Pepsi, like Surge or something, and it had like Chancellor Valorum on it. It was the only one I needed, but no convenience store like 100 miles carried it. So we went on vacation one time, and I remember we were like in Northern California, and I just happened to go into one and they have it. I'm like, oh my god, I found Chancellor Valorum. It's like the greatest day of my life. Which is
so, what did you win if you got the gold can? I forgot like what the prize was.
I think you got money.
Okay, so it was just money.
Really?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like a monetary prize, and then they had other cans to where you'd win like life-size statues of like Darth Maul and Yoda because it was all tied to Episode 1. So they had a ton of great prizes, but I never found a gold one either. So
yeah,
Sad.
I wonder who found the gold can. I'm gonna have to Google that.
Yeah,
like now I want to know.
It's probably some old lady who didn't mean to. Most of those contests go to these like people who don't want the prize. So I remember like they gave away the Batmobile once, and it went to this like old man who had no interest in it. The funniest giveaway I remember was Stone Cold Steve Austin, the wrestler, had a pickup truck, and on the side of the pickup truck it said like 100% whoop ass or something like that. And this like 85-year-old grandma won it, and there's all these pictures of her standing next to this giant monster truck, and she's like, I don't know what to do with it.
That's too funny. That's probably what happened. And my brother and my dad and I all had a ton of cavities that year, but that's okay.
But that's okay. You had the whole set. That's all that matters.
Yes, we had fun. That brought back memories. I love this. It's such a great franchise, right? So
absolutely. I saw a lot of vintage or classic machines back there for playing video games, retro games. What is your favorite retro system, and what kind of games do you love to play on there?
Oh my god. Okay. So again, talking about just like childhood memories, I remember when my dad brought home the Super Nintendo, and we had like a little TV. Like, I remember when we watched Star Wars, my dad made sure we watched it on like the big screen. You know what I mean? Like, so that's like very epic. I remember us like sitting there and being like, whoa, you know. But with Super Nintendo, he was like, okay, like let's plug this thing in. And his TV would have to be like this big. And I just remember Super Mario World and the like, you know, this little character jumping across the screen. And my brother and I were just like, again, just fell in love, you know, which is funny because I absolutely like. I did not play many platforms. When we were growing up, I played a lot of RPGs. Chrono Trigger was probably our favorite. Illusion of Gaia is my personal favorite. We also really like Secret of Mana and Terradigma and Lufia and Soul Blazer and weird ones that nobody, like, they are dead. Like, people do not know these games anymore. But they were like some great RPG titles that honestly were exceptionally dark, and I don't know why we were playing these games when we were like 6 or 7. Like in Illusion of Gaia, you're in the Inca ruins, and you stumble across these bones, and in it is a letter, and the letter is like, I wish I could see my daughter and my wife again. And I don't know why I went on this excursion, and I'm reading this when I'm like 6 or 7 years old, and my dad and mom have no idea what we're playing. They think it's just like some little silly platformer where you're like hopping on mushrooms and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I just remember that like we were playing like some heavy stuff. But I think that those stories shaped me into the person that I am today. You know what I mean? Like I've learned a lot about like hardship early on and just like being a survivor and like pushing through. And I think the Star Wars series like did that for my brother and I in particular too. You know, like we fell in love with the story. I remember we had like encyclopedias and we were learning like everything we could about like these worlds. I don't know, like I just think about how epic Star Wars was, and it's just it just had so many great morals and so many conflicted characters, and then it just showed us this world that was just so breathtaking and like something we'd never seen before. I think that that's why 4, 5, and 6 resonate with me so much. It's because like we had never seen anything remotely close to that, you know. And we liked weird stuff. I'm also a big fan of Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, you know what I mean? But for some reason, Star Wars really knocked it out of the park. And for me in particular, too, it was, you know, Princess Leia was one of the first female characters that I saw who was actually like not a complete push over a damsel in distress, especially like back then. Like that's pretty much like all you saw, you know. So I think that's why I kind of liked to watch it the most, was because like I was like, I remember she was strangling Jabba the Hutt, and I was like,
Yeah.
like, she's the one to do it. Like I love that, you know. So there's just, it's just a great story that has affected so many people, like so deeply, and I'm so happy that I was one of the people that got introduced to it so early on. So.
Nice. You mentioned Dark Crystal, and my heart skipped a beat because that's I love Dark Crystal. Did you see that? Did you watch the Netflix series yet?
Loved it. I thought it was
so
fantastic. You know, this also brings up an interesting topic. So with the new Dark Crystal, they were like, we're sticking with puppets. Like we're going to go puppets and like very minimal CG, which you can only imagine how expensive and how time consuming that project was. But another reason why episode 1, 2, and 3, it had, I guess, trouble resonating with me was just because we had such great puppetry, and you know, they just did such crazy things with technology back then. You know what I mean? And so then to see all the CG and everything, for some reason, it just lost a lot of that magic for me in episode 1, 2, and 3. And I got like some like potential questions for you guys, and it was like special editions or theatrical releases. And for me, it was theatrical releases. Because it just still, I don't know, it just had like, I guess that roughness that I really enjoyed. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Plus we know you're an Ewok fan, and so the theatrical release had Yub Nub as opposed to whatever they did in the special edition. You know, they went.
Also, yeah, I'm like, and I guess with the special editions, they were trying to make improvements, but it was just like it had touched something that was like so sacred to me. And even though it was just, and I remember how they like CG'd Jabba the Hutt, because like originally they had like just some like dude walking, and like I know it's just narration wise, like it's just wrong, right? Like this special editions fix that, but like for some reason I was like, I like the flaws, like
Right.
I like that stuff, you know. So I'm definitely a theatrical release too.
Oh, nice.
So
We're gonna.
Sorry. Yep.
No, I was just gonna say we're getting a lot of questions in the chat about
Oh.
you know, anime stuff, like you'd mentioned Dragon Ball, especially the
Oh
Frieza
my
saga.
God! Okay, cool.
So what, you know, is there is you have a favorite Dragon Ball character? You know, obviously the Frieza saga must be your favorite saga, but have you continued past Z onto like Dragon Ball Super?
Okay, so my favorite character of all time is Zarbon, and Zarbon is like a very underrated character, but like he's okay, and I think I like low-key relate to him because he's like, I don't know, he's just this sounds weird to say that I relate to him, but he's just like gorgeous, and he's like really full of himself, but like on the inside he's a monster. And so you realize that like all of his like pomp and bravado is like really like insecurity, you know what I mean? Like he's trying to like hide something. And this is me being like a crazy fan that's reading way too deeply into this, because he's literally in like a handful of episodes, but like for some reason I was like, Zarbon, and he's just the ultimate badass. Like if you look at him physically, so many of the characters in Dragon Ball just look amazing. I mean, Broly, I mean, like that guy's like physical perfection, and like all the Saiyans, they're just like beautiful, right? But Zarbon is just like, for some reason, just the best. He's just so beautiful. Like he basically looks like a girl. He's got like long green hair and this like light blue skin, and he's got like his little like headpiece, you know. Like I just for some reason vibed with him so much. So I definitely think Zarbon's my favorite character. I'm also a low-key Raditz fan. Raditz,
Really?
Why hasn't he been brought back from the dead? He is Goku's brother. He has the best hair out of anyone we've seen in that series. Like, look at that widow's peak. And he's a Saiyan. And for some reason, they're like, Raditz is good. Just leave him. Just leave him. How many people have been brought back from the dead? I mean, Yamcha, like, come on now. Like, we can't bring back Raditz.
Yamcha was a waste.
I'm a low-key Raditz fan. I'm also, I mean, but if we're talking like most popular characters, Vegeta. I've always been a second place girl myself. Like I'm never in first place. I don't know what it is. Like, you know what I mean? So I always find myself getting attached to characters that like, no matter how hard they try, and they are working their tail off, they're always like second place, but they're like they're not jealous, but they're like, hey, I'm gonna push you. If you're gonna be number one, like I'm gonna push you. Because I never see Vegeta being jealous of Goku, but Vegeta still in his mind is like, no, I will beat you someday, you know. But I will always really love Vegeta as well. So
I don't know, Darth Maul, Vegeta. You like the bad boys. You like the bad boys.
Vegeta's good now, but he's definitely kind of a bad boy now. Yeah, I definitely, and Zarbon's a villain too. I definitely kind of go towards the villain. So yeah, sorry, that was a long answer again.
That's okay. The villains are usually more interesting, anyways. You know, because they're usually the ones that are up to no good, or they got their dastardly plans. You know, the good guys, they just have to stop them.
We love Goku, but Goku is a very linear character. Like he's just a goofball. He's just a goofball with just insane amounts of power. And I've had massive discussions with people because I'll be like, he's not complex. He's very linear. And then people are like, oh, what about the Cell Saga and like what he does for Gohan at the end and all this stuff? I'm like, I'm sorry. He's extremely linear. Is he adorable? Do I love Goku? Of course. I have probably 20 Goku shirts, which is crazy. But Vegeta is just 100%. Like he has my heart over Goku. So sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, it's not possible for you to talk too much. They don't want to hear us talk. They want to hear you talk.
Okay, sorry.
So, and a lot of people are asking about different animes you watch. You know, they saw your collection in the background. If you had to pick, you had Neon Genesis back there. If you had to pick your ultimate favorite anime, either movie, series, limited series, ongoing series, whatever, what would you pick?
Cowboy Bebop. Like, don't even need to think about it.
Good choice.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop. So I don't want to get like super heavy on you guys, but my brother passed away 3 years ago in an accident, and he was my best friend. I think you've heard me like talk about him repeatedly, you know, and he was my best friend. He was a year younger than me. People called us twins. We like literally looked like exactly the same, and he was 6'3", I'm 6'2", so we were like twins, you know. And he loved Cowboy Bebop, and I low-key loved Gungrave and Neon Genesis Evangelion more. But when he passed away, like that anime just resonated with me more and more because it's about tragedy, it's about loss, and it has a very epic line in it, and it's "See You, Space Cowboy." And for some reason, like that resonated so deeply with me because it was just kind of like. I remember I was rewatching the episode. Every episode will end in the corner and I'll say, "See You, Space Cowboy." And I remember I read that and it was literally like he was saying it to me and I was saying it to him. And my brother was covered in tattoos. And I was like, no, I'm scared of tattoos. I don't want them, you know? And then I was like, I'm going to get that tattooed on my side. And like, that'll forever like remind, you know, obviously it's in honor of him, but just like, remind me of this special bond that we had over anime and video games and Star Wars and all this great stuff, you know? So Cowboy Bebop definitely at the top. And not only because of that obviously a very strong connection with it emotionally because of that, but it is an incredible story. It's 26 episodes. It's like Firefly in animated form. I don't know if anyone's seen Firefly. That's a great show, but it's basically an animated Firefly. It's bounty hunters and they're in space and it's like this space Western. And there's these anthology type episodes too that stand alone that are exceptional. Honestly, just Google cathedral scene for Cowboy Bebop. And if that doesn't convince you to watch that anime, I don't know what will. Like cinematically, that is like one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Like it's just one of the best action scenes I've ever seen. So yes, I'm sorry, another long answer, but Cowboy Bebop by a landslide. So
awesome. I see on your Instagram that you do a lot of cosplay. I saw the My Hero cosplay and stuff like that. Is that something that you like to do?
Oh my god, I love cosplay. Yeah. I actually just wrapped up a cosplay shoot and I did Rin Tosaka from the Fate series. I did Darling in the Franxx. I did Chikasato from Kaguya-sama Love is War. And oh my god, I'm blanking on the first one. Oh, I did Nezuko from Demon Slayer. So I'm going to be rolling those out. I did them all as like e-girls. Like it's basically just like e-girls, Instagram girls, but like with like the contacts and the hair and stuff like that. So I think it'll be really fun. But my favorite cosplay, I've cosplayed Zarbon, love Zarbon, and I've done Chun-Li, and I have to admit, like, I'm a nasty Chun-Li. Like, I look just like her, and I played Division I volleyball, so I got those like thick Chun-Li thighs, so I was like, this is my best cosplay, like, for sure my favorite. And then I've done a bunch of My Hero Academia characters and stuff like that. So, but I love it. The only thing is that like it breaks the bank because you're buying wigs and contacts and outfits and stuff like that. But like I try to do it affordably, and I do a lot of like I said, this one I'm doing e-girls, so I don't have to like full out buy costumes. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish I could do it more, to be honest. So.
Well, very nice. Well, what's next? Quarantine's finally lifted eventually. What's next for you, Jackie?
Okay, so I have been fortunate enough to be able to do a weekly video with Anime News Network, and we put out, if people are really interested in anime, we put out a list, and it's like, the best anime on Netflix, the best anime on Crunchyroll, and all that stuff. But the one thing I really enjoy about working on this list is that they do a lot of like more in-depth, more inside baseball anime stuff, like the best Shinichiro Watanabe anime, the best Gen Urobuchi anime, and they pick or best Studio Trigger, and they pick specific studios and creators and break down some of the best anime from them. So it's kind of like, it's not like the generic YouTube list you see. It's like very inside baseball, and I absolutely love that. So I'm actually working on a new one right now. So if you want to catch that weekly content, definitely check that out. And then I have my own YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/JackieJing. And it's predominantly trailer reactions, and I do trailer reactions for video game trailers. I just did The Last of Us 2 trailer reaction. That looks so good. I know there was leaks and all that stuff, but for me, it was still such a trip to watch that trailer. I'm really excited about that game.
Nice.
And then I do, anime trailer reactions. Obviously, because Hollywood shut down, there hasn't been too much for movies or TV shows and stuff like that. But then a lot of it's just me nerding out. Like I do a lot of like best of from Jackie. Like, what's my favorite anime? Who are my favorite villains? So it's a fun YouTube page. I also do song covers. I sing on there. So it's just basically some weird inside look at Jackie's life. And then once COVID is over, I'm hoping that I can get back into hosting esports events. That might take a little bit more time to roll out. I've done HomeCon. I don't know if you guys heard about HomeCon, but it's like this online virtual con, and got to interview some really cool people, and it's coming back in May, so hopefully they'll invite me back. But yeah, I've been actually like surprisingly kind of busy still. So that's good. I feel blessed for that, for sure. But yeah, we're all getting through it, right?
For your video game reactions, did you see the Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer?
Yep, and that's been one of my top performing videos. Amazing. I mean, like, I absolutely love Vikings lore. Hey, anime, you should check out. If you like that trailer, go watch Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga? Yeah. Vinland Saga, yo.
Yeah. I was like, I'm actually only 5 episodes into Vinland Saga. I'm like behind on it, but like I was like watching that trailer, I was like, I gotta go finish Vinland Saga. And I watched the show Vikings as well. But
I love that show.
I
love Vikings.
Very good.
The show was fire. Oh,
yeah.
So good.
But for real though, I'm like, when are we gonna see a game from AC we need to do Tokyo and China? Like,
people have been wanting that since the beginning, because at the end of the first game, if you went back into the room and used Eagle Vision, one of the things on the wall, you saw a Japanese temple, and everyone's like, so are we going there? They've gone everywhere around the world except Japan. I feel like they're doing it on purpose now at this point.
Maybe, I thought maybe it's because of Tsushima coming out. Maybe they thought, I don't know, you know what I mean? That maybe be too similar or something. But I would still play it. I could play enough of those games. Oh my God, what was the one that came out recently? It was last year. It was so good. Oh my gosh.
For Assassin's Creed?
No, it was a samurai game, and it was
Sekiro? Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That. Yeah, so I'm like, maybe they thought that maybe these are too, maybe they didn't want to do it because there's already those games like that. But I mean, I would still love to see their interpretation of it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
hopefully they'll do it. But I mean, the Vikings lore, I'm in. Also, I thought that they were gonna. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. Go watch the trailer, but it was really fun. It's a really, really fun trailer. So
yeah, I'm hyped for it.
yay! Oh my god, I love talking to other people who are as nerdy as me. It's like, it's tough, like, it's like, that's why I honestly make my YouTube content, because I'm like, yo, will people talk to me about this stuff? Like, I'm trapped in my apartment right now and don't have like anybody to talk to about this stuff. So I'm really happy you guys invited me on. So
absolutely, yeah, we loved having you on. You're at Jackie Jing at all social platforms. Is that correct? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. If there's a social network out there, you're at Jackie Jing. Thank you so much for joining us.
I have this janky piece of paper.
Nice.
I hold this up during my YouTube videos, and my friend always gets mad at me. She's like, "Can you at least laminate it?" And I'm like, "No, because then I can't go like this." And she's like, absolutely hates this piece of paper. I wrote like Discord and Patreon and TikTok on there because I was too lazy to print out another one. So that's it. And actually, for my Twitch, it's Sister of Ian. I stream video games too. I'm just a big nerd. But yeah,
nice.
So if you want to continue these conversations, please feel free to hit me up on any of those social media platforms. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, make sure to go to bluefinbrands.com to check out all the Star Wars deals we have going on, and make sure to follow Jackie on all of her social platforms. So thank you so much, Jackie, and have a great rest of your day.
You too. See ya.
Bye. Thank you, guys.